I'm the Mountain. This is the Game of Thrones show on Off the Ball.
You're very welcome along to Off the Ball. It is episode 2 and we are less than 1 week away from season 8 of the greatest TV show ever made. This show is brought to you with thanks to Discover Northern Ireland, and as ever, Andy Lee and Tommy Rooney are in studio. How are you, lads?
How you doing?
Are you excited?
Getting there, very close now.
Christmas Eve sort of vibe?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's been a long night, a very long night.
It certainly has. Winter is here and it's cold.
Days, nearly 2 years, so...
With every trailer, you're just getting a little bit more excited.
It's been a real Westeros winter the last 2 years. We all watched the most recent trailer, and it's the one that dropped last week in particular. Sort of gave us very heavy hints as to where certain people might go and certain character arcs. Before we get into that, though, I should mention this. This is our map in the studio. It is a map of Westeros. We have stuck to just a certain part of it, which may be a bit of conjecture. We're screwed, basically, if everybody goes back to Essos.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah, we've taken a bit of a gamble that all the action is going to be going on here. We're going to be adding all the faces of all the characters, or most of the important ones anyway, onto this map very, very shortly indeed. You can see Tommy there with the little head in his hand.
Or Reek, or is he Theon again, or is he Reek?
He is certainly Theon. You're still back in season 4 thinking, are you?
You're doing season 5 now.
Okay.
The end of season 4.
You'd want to get a bit of a move on.
Sheaford want to get a move on, I'm okay.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure she hurries up. Yeah. So, trailer. We've learned a lot, particularly about Daenerys.
Well, a couple of trailers were released, and then a teaser, but in the trailer, it was mostly footage from the previous initial trailer, and then with a couple of extra scenes out of them. 2 of them are really interesting. One, maybe not so much, but it hints at... Well, we've got to give full spoilers before we start.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Spoilers and conjecture and conspiracy theories and mentions of Reddit threads.
Yeah. There's a shot in the new trailer where it's Varys, Tyrion and Davos Seaworth, and they're looking up in amazement, and you know they're looking at a dragon. They're on the battlements at Winterfell, but they look very surprised. So to me, I'm thinking that's Jon riding a dragon. Like, because why would they be surprised? They've seen many dragons. They've seen the dragons fly so much.
Have they seen the ice dragon?
Yeah, but it's daytime. So I would say, like, the kind of comes in the night, and it's when he comes, it's cold. It's night. Like, he brings the winter, and there was like this quite a bright winter's day up in Winterfell, and they're like. And there is scenes of the 2 dragons flying around in the trailer, which was from the first trailer, but they could have CGI'd out Dany and Jon riding them, because that'd be a huge spoiler.
Do you think people have the knowledge of how all this works to know that if Jon is riding a dragon, what that actually means? Because we know as the audience what that means, because he is one of the only people capable of doing so, but do they actually understand that?
Well, they teased it because he was able to touch Drogon, wasn't he, in season 7, and that kind of surprised Daenerys. So it means he's a dragon rider, you know. And was
Tyrion not able to also touch a dragon?
He kind of, but see, there's also another theory behind that, is Tyrion's a secret Targaryen.
Definitely hinted at.
He doesn't know he's Targaryen. That Mad King Aerys, Daenerys' father.
How would that come out, though? Like, Sam obviously discovers Jon's lineage.
They probably won't find out now. Not in the show. Not in the show.
There's hardly time to find out that Tyrion's
That's a kind of a book theory.
Tyrion's a Targaryen.
Well, he's either a Targaryen or a traitor.
Well, yeah.
Might be a Twitter poll, actually. Let us know in the comments if is he more Targaryen or more traitor. So what? So we're thinking Jon Snow.
So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Jon Snow's riding a dragon, and I think it's a good shout, because there's scenes where they come up and you can see like the dragons are sitting in some icy land, and they've eaten a few animals, and then they're approached by Daenerys and Jon, and I think after that they ride them, you know. So I think that's. But the really interesting one from the other trailer, which was. It's more or less been confirmed by one very, like, sleuth or whatever, like, eagle-eyed Redditor. We don't know who it was. I'm sorry for not to credit them, but they identified that there's a scene where Jon is kind of faces in portrait kind of silhouette, and he kind of steps back, and you see Daenerys to his side, and she's standing in front of a fireplace, and it's the same fireplace from the season 7 in Dragonstone. So that means that's got huge implications. That means that
that's the image there. On the screen.
That's it. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. So she is in front of the fireplace in Dragonstone there. We'll put that up, won't we?
We'll put it on screen, yeah. Crisis Trigger on Reddit.
And like Dragonstone is down here. So somewhere...
And then you got Winterfell up here for anybody who can't see.
And so does that mean they lose the battle at Winterfell? This leads on to the teaser that was released yesterday. It was called Aftermath.
You got excited about that one.
I was pretty excited. Well, it was like it's all symbol. I don't think it's probably not. It can't be actual footage from the season, but it's a lot of symbolism, obviously, and it showed basically all of the main characters who are fighting in the north. It foreshadowed their deaths or their demise. Like it showed Tyrion's hand of the Queen badge that was given to him by Daenerys. It showed Jaime's hand. It showed Arya's sword needle. It showed Bran's wheelchair. It also showed like a raven's feather, or that could have been Lyanna's feather, the one that Rob Baratheon placed there in season 1. And it showed Daenerys' chain with the 3-headed dragons, and then the big one at the end, it showed Longclaw. And there was some. It's been enhanced and brightened online, and you can see like there's a figure coming through the arch at Winterfell, and it looks very much like the Night King.
I know for a fact you spent like hours going through this trailer, because naturally we have a Game of Thrones WhatsApp group here to discuss topics and what we're going to be talking about. And a message comes in: Danny's pin, John's sword, this and that. What does it mean?
So I'm like, it's too much. Like if that can't be actual footage, I don't think from the season, because all those things would be perfectly placed. Maybe the Longclaw part is this John's sword, but like, what does it? Obviously means that they've lost the Battle of Winterfell, and does Jon lose his sword, which will be huge. You know, the sword which he got from Jorah Mormont, and it's the those things are so symbolic in within the world of Game of Thrones.
How is that battle going to go? Like, what is the tactic that wins that battle? It is the...
Well, also in the new trailer, there's a shot of Winterhead from above, and you can see they've dug trenches now around Winterfell.
Right.
So that's obviously part of their defence. But, like, you look at the fighters that they've got in the north now: Jaime, Brienne, Arya, Jon, Bronn, maybe Bronn, we think Bronn. You've basically got all the best fighters there. 2 dragons.
Well, that's the key part.
The Hound, probably Beric Dondarrion, Dolores Ed. You got all these guys there. So I'm probably missing out some of the best fighters. They're going to be in the north. And they're going up against a bunch of zombies who will be easy enough to kill, you think. Just that there's so many of them.
With the dragon, so.
They have 1 dragon versus 2 dragons. So it's like... I don't know. It's going to be so interesting. I think the Night King has a surprise yet. And we'll see, I don't know. We talked last week about finding out the motivation of the White Walkers. And it's been, there's been another leak, so spoilers here, on Reddit that I read, that there's a message left on the wall, some symbols or some sort of message left on the wall at Black Castle Black, that's left by the Night King as he comes through.
Right.
So that's hugely interesting. So maybe that's, I don't know if that's...
Night King was here.
Yeah. Like,
2K19.
It's
But hold on. You're saying spoilers. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know what season 8 like. We don't know what.
Well, this is all. Yeah, it could all be. Like, and anything with the Tyrion betrayal, which I failed to mention last week. The showrunners did shoot false scenes.
Did they?
They shot scenes. Even the cast didn't even know if they were real or not. And it was for people to see, because there was so much security that everyone was there. Paparazzi, there was drones, there was like a no-fly zone over the sets and stuff like that. And
I should say we're going to be speaking to Mark O'Donovan, Irish rower, later on. What
a man.
Might have a spoiler or two for us.
Probably signed a non-disclosure.
Yeah, I'd imagine he has.
I was talking to him in the build-up and he goes, I can't give anything away. And I was like, well, look, Mark, we won't press you on it. But if there's anything you can tell
playing
us.
a wildland?
Well, he's basically been an extra for anybody who doesn't know the Mark O'Donovan story. We'll get the full story from him later. And he's playing a wildling. That'll be interesting. People from Skibbereen are wildlings anyway, Andy.
he was an extra in season 6, and he's an extra again. I think where are they going to be rowing? Is it going to be in...
Well, this is actually a key point I want to make.
Where are they going to be in the water?
They'll row down.
Well, we'll get
row down the Dragonstone.
We may actually come up with a couple of tactics for how we're going to win the war once we get to the map, and we'll do that in just a moment, I guess.
I thought you were on the Night King side.
Well, I'm on the Night King side, but I want to see a good battle.
Okay.
I want, like, the Night King victory will kind of be the most satisfying end, wouldn't it? Get rid of everybody. Just get rid of all the humans.
The league final in the Gaelic football at the weekend.
What did he say?
He said, I want Kerry to win, but I'd like to go battle with Mayo. And what happened? Mayo bloody won.
So you're really hoping for the Night King?
Well, yeah, I think we've been treated to so many great, horrible moments that the only way it could get more horrible is if the Night King wins. And we may as well crack on with it in terms of where everybody is. And we want to start with...
This is basically, a geological catch-up, I guess, isn't it? And their motivations of where they're going. And just, like... One of the biggest criticisms over the last few seasons is this teleportation that the characters are able to make, because this is like, to go from here to here would take you at least 3 or 4 weeks by horse, but they're able to do it several times during an episode, and there seems to be no passing of time, so, but I guess we're beyond that now at this stage, and we just want to get an end to the story and find out what the end game is.
Well, will we go start from the north and go down to the south?
Yeah. Yep.
So let's start with the Night King then, I guess. Andy, place it there on the map where he is.
We saw him, boom, him and his army with Viserion, breaching the wall at Eastwatch by the sea, and that's it. He's going to come down. And the places they got Carhold and the last half here, these are strongholds of the Umbers and of the Karstarks and the Dreadfort, which was... historically where the Ramsay Bolton and the Boltons lived. So he could probably take out these guys on the way down, maybe Hornwood, and then build his army, add to his army, take all those guys. Because you saw John forgive the Karstarks, Ned Umber, young Ned Umber, what's it, Ned Umber? The Karstarks and Alice Karstark in season 7. He kind of forgive them for their father's sins, because they sided with the Boltons, and so that kind of just set them up to get killed in season 8. That's the only reason they were brought in on season 7.
What sort of size army does he need to conquer? Does he just need to take just a little bit more in the north and maybe whatever civilians are left over in Winterfell?
We don't know how many he has, but it's just I don't know, he'll just keep growing and growing and growing. It's a virus almost, isn't it? And there's some, it's just a virus that he's going to come down and take all these strongholds and then add them, and then eventually get to Winterfell, where at the moment, when we last saw them, it was Sansa, Breen, of course Bran is there, Arya, and Sam, along with a lot of others.
I should say, if anybody in the podcast, you can head on to youtube.com/offtheball to actually see this in action. But we'll describe it to you anyway. We've got 5 characters here. 6. There's 2 in the one little counter here so far at Winterfell that we're focusing on. And this is all up to date. This is where we last saw them. They are going to have new additions soon.
Well, there's a lot on the way. We saw that we last saw Dany, Jon and Tyrion. They were sailing from King's Landing here. They were sailing to Whitehall, which is up here, and they thought it would be a sign of unity and strength if they arrived together. But also marching is all their allies, which is, well, we don't know if they're on the boat or if they're marching, but this is Grey Worm. I wouldn't think Grey Worm will lead Dany's side, so I assume he's on the boat. Varys, I don't think he'd like the road too much, so I'd say he's on the boat. And so Davos, he's beside Jon, so I'd say he's on the boat as well, So
we've got a touring party here.
Yeah, and then the rest of the Unsullied, the Dragons, the Dothraki, they're marching from King's Landing all the way up through the Twins and eventually to Whitehall, where they reunite. Jaime is also... Well, we've got to put the other 2. I wouldn't think Jorah would leave Dany, but I'd say the Hound is probably marching somewhere up here to reunite with them. Jamie's also on the march. He's
just left King's Landing.
Left King's Landing last, so
he's on the outskirts of Harrenhal about now. I'd say
he's probably
2 years. 2 years travelling. He's got as far as Harrenhal.
He's on the ruins of Harrenhal. Bronn, we don't know where he's going to go and where he comes into it. He's certainly in the season because the actor's been involved in all of the promo. But he'll probably rejoin Jamie at some stage. I'd say he will join, unless Cersei actually gives him a castle, this promised castle that he's been waiting for.
Which one's he going to get?
I don't know. They did give him a castle and a wife and a lordship, but then it kind of got reneged, didn't it? And
yeah.
Went down to Dawn with Jamie on that mission to rescue Marsala. So he'll come in somewhere, but he might end up staying with Cersei. We don't know yet. We don't know. He hasn't really made too much of an appearance in any of the trailers, but he's involved. Cersei, of course, is in King's Landing with the Mountain and with Qyburn and the Lannister forces, whatever's left of them. They're waiting on the arrival of the Golden Company, which will be coming from Essos or from Qohor, which is where they were first established. This man is on the way. He's bringing them, so he'll be coming across the Narrow Sea. That's Euron Greyjoy. Euron Greyjoy we last saw on Dragonstone with Jon, and he was on a mission to go rescue his sister. So
he's going to show up in King's Landing eventually.
He's somewhere around here. Yeah, he's going to. I think there might be an ambush by Theon. Or when Euron eventually does deliver the Golden Company to Cersei, and he's boats are docked in the harbour, the ships. I think Theon may make a kind of an ambush and either steal away Yara on her own or take the ships with him, and then Euron loses his fleet. Something like that I could see playing out.
Right.
So I think Theon does eventually get involved in the Battle of Winterfell.
Do you think that, or have you seen him pop up?
I'm not sure if he appears in the trailer, but for some reason I think he's there. I think he has to find. It still needs some sort of redemption, you know. And finally, we're not sure where she is in the story, Melisandre, but she has a big role to play, I think, in the endgame, because she's obviously a believer in the Lord of Light. She's the fire god, and it's a song of ice and fire. And I think she will come. Maybe it'll be like the Lord of the Rings, where, you know, the Knights of Aragon turn up at the end. And she'll turn up with a huge army of followers of V'lor, and she'll turn up in Winterfell, maybe the end of episode 3, and win the battle or save Dany and some of the main characters who escape with Mark O'Donovan.
With Mark O'Donovan.
Down to Dragonstone.
Rowing down. Great rower, actually, so they'll get down there quickly. Right, let's... let me think. So, this is clearly going to become a situation where this reunion is going to happen very quickly. This is probably episode 1 where we're
I don't think there's any more. I think we'll find them all here, and then a bit of chitter-chatter, and then they eventually, which we've already seen in the trailer, they all get up to.
Cool. So let's move them all up there for the time being. Yeah. We're also going to see Euron come to King's Landing in episode 1 with the Golden Company. That's going to happen in episode 1.
Yeah.
So after that, then we're going to have the onslaught from the Night King and his army soon. So we think episode 3, the battle is going to happen. Before that battle happens, is there anything that this crew here can do to stop the impact of the White Walkers and the Night King? I do wonder if the best option is just to retreat. Do they let Winterfell go and retreat?
Well, they will, but they will want to defend it because it's their home, and it's their ancestral home. It's probably one of the oldest castles in the world of Westeros or Planetos. It's been there since the beginning of the first men, who the Starks are descended from. But
there's no water around Winterfell. They need to get to water.
They should all retreat to the Iron Islands over here.
Well, the Iron Islands. Personally, I think they should just all go.
Nothing grows in the way. Yeah, they should. Why don't they just sail across? Yeah, or fly across. Daenerys could do a little taxi service across to the. But I guess they want to fight for the living, and this is a densely populated island, world of people, and these guys taking upon themselves to defend and fight for the living. That's John's whole goal.
A lot of the living are going to get slaughtered in this. There's no way they can possibly... Like, we can talk about tactics all day long, but ultimately what it is 2 versus 1. And all we got to worry about here is the dragons. What can the great fighters that you talk about actually do when it comes to wielding power in a battle that involves dragons?
Nothing really. Well, Gendry is there. He's a smith. He's been forging, apparently, weapons from dragonglass, with dragonglass tips, spears, and those will be, against the whites and the White Walkers, those will be effective. We don't know what can kill an ice dragon. We don't know yet. Maybe it's just another dragon can only kill a dragon. We'll have to wait and see. One thing I'm interested about, and I wonder what you guys think about this, is characters from previous seasons who died in the north coming back and appearing as whites. Do you think we'll see Hodor? Zombie Hodor?
Forgot about all this. This is, of course,
this
going to happen.
This is my fault. This is my idea where they kill, like, apparently if you don't burn your dead in the north, they will come back as whites, yeah? So why didn't they just go beyond the wall, kill some guy who was judged to have been a murderer or whatever it may be, kill him, and let him become resurrected, and then drag him back instead of going all the way north, like, and losing a dragon.
Well, that would be very smart, and also going all the way north with a huge army that they didn't need. Well, a huge army is in, like, more people than they required in one of the most stupid ploys of all time. The one guarantee we can make is that whatever tactical route they go down in the Battle of Winterfell in episode 3, it won't be as stupid a tactic as going beyond the wall to go get a White Walker. It just doesn't make any sense. So
they've dug trenches, so they need fire. Fire stops whites. They need fire as much as they can get it, and if there's any possibility of getting obviously the dragon fire and then the stuff that Cersei burnt us up with.
The next thing we need to get into here is the ultimate betrayal that is going to happen from Cersei. This is not a spoiler or conjecture. We know it from the end of the last episode that she is not on board with this plan. She is going to stab them in the back at every given opportunity. She is not leaving King's Landing. So,
see, this is the part where Jaime can undo Tyrion. There'll probably be some conflict there because Jaime's come up to fight for the living. He's saying in the trailer he's promised to fight for the living, and he's going to. That's what he's going to do. But if Tyrion's telling them that, like, Tyrion's made this off-screen deal with Cersei and saying, I'm going to vouch for you, so I'm going up here and tell him that you're going to send the forces, and you don't send the forces. So Tyrion's going to go up there and vouch for Cersei, because they've gone back now to the north with the belief that Cersei's going to send the troops on Tyrion's word. But then Jaime's going to follow on and saying she's not sending anything, you know. So
there's kind of like a triangle of betrayal here. Tyrion to betray his friends in the north, Jaime to betray Tyrion. Not that he's betraying him, not that there's any loyalty there to be betrayed. And then, I don't know, one of them is going to go down, Jaime or Tyrion. Does it become a battle of the brothers in some respect?
Well, I think there has to be, like, between the Lannisters, there has to be some sort of... I'm not sure if either Jaime or Tyrion dies in the north, because I think that's an unresolved story then, because they're huge players, the Lannisters, the remaining Lannisters, they're the last 3 Lannisters left, and they have to kind of resolve that, you know, the family issues, and who is the Valonqar, who is the little brother who will kill Cersei. It's one of them.
The Golden Company, when they come, what are they going to do?
They're going to, I think, now this is another theory, I think they're going to betray Cersei.
Right.
They're going to turn side, because they are historic. They were formed by a Targaryen bastard, Aegon Rivers. He was banished from Westeros. He went to Corra and into Essos, and he established the Golden Company. And they're known as the biggest and the best sellsword company in the world of Planetos. That they never, their word is golden. They never break a contract. But I think they might, for the first time ever, and it will be huge if they take Daenerys' side, eventually turning on Cersei.
Why would they still have loyalty to that Targaryen?
I don't know. In the books, they end up following Aegon Targaryen. So the show, I don't know, they have some form there. Why would they be? Because maybe they'll get up there and they'll realise that we're in against a load of zombies and dead people and whites. That why don't we just, like, we're going to forget following Cersei for money, because this is our life. So we'll see. I think the one thing that's been teased, that they have huge elephants. So I would like to see a few elephants going into battle.
But I hate to simplify it again. Ultimately, the big battle here, and there's only 3 beasts that matter, and they're all dragons.
Yeah,
like
but
elephants
also,
don't stand a chance.
The White Walkers, the Whites, they have white giants. You know, the big giants. You talked about ice spiders.
They have ice spiders.
Well, we already saw polar bear last season.
Yeah.
And you know, I know for a lot of the fandom, they want to see the direwolves again on screen, because there haven't really been much of Ghost in anything. I think it's only Ghost and Nymeria left of the original direwolves.
Could we have an ice direwolf at some stage?
Well, we just talked about, like,
I think so.
Previous characters from previous seasons who died in the north.
Oh yeah,
coming back as Whites.
Welcome back, Tommy, by the way.
I popped it there for a minute.
What do you think is going to happen in terms of how this battle in the north is going to materialise? I'm all for retreating. Just get the hell out of Winterfell. There's no point staying there. You're going to die. All of you are going to die. Get towards water. Like, when I say get towards water, you mentioned the islands, and sorry, we're going on a tangent here. I think they need to get to the neck, because that way you can shoehorn them into this area here. And this is where you want the battle to happen. Forget the settlement. Stop being so nostalgic and so sentimental about that town. There were greater things at risk here. Get them down to this area here. Narrow them in. With all this land around here, it's just too much. They can absolutely surround them. You can't get surrounded here. They're not going to go to the left. They're not going to go to the right. When you know where they're going to go, you've got the battle won. That's the thing about it. They're very predictable.
I think they eventually will have to abandon the Winterfell. And we've already seen that Dany's in Dragonstone, and we've seen on the trail that Arya's running for the crypts, and we've seen in season 2 or 3 when Tyrion takes Winterfell, when he betrays the Starks, he knew the way in. He could breach the walls of Winterfell because there was a secret entrance through the crypts. So I think the battle will be lost.
How many are going to be slaughtered?
See,
who do you expect to be off that chart next week?
And we spoke about I think it's pretty much sure that this big battle doesn't happen until episode 3. So they've got a bit of screen time left to go, and a few like storylines to tie up. But I don't know who makes it out in the end from the battle. See, these are huge characters and so pivotal to the story that to kill them off in season 3. But somebody has to go, doesn't it? Somebody has to go. I think Jorah, he could be gone. Although, if he does make it, I think I don't know.
Yeah, but Jorah can go.
No
one's going to worry too much about Jorah this screen.
But he's a great character, isn't he? Jorah Mormont.
But season 3 of the final season, Andy. I mean, all bets are off. Episode 3. Yeah. All bets are off. Like, it's not too soon for any of them. If they go in season 1, if they kill Daenerys Targaryen in season 1, I don't care.
Episode 1. I think
episode 1. I keep saying season.
I think he's gone. Grey Worm is dead. I don't think he's got any. I think you saw him getting a kiss from.
Yeah, and that's it.
Missandei.
The kiss. Yeah.
And I think, that's sealed.
Your story's over.
You're gone, boy. You've had a great run.
So you think he's the most
greatest warriors, the greatest army commanders ever was. But you're going to go down doing something well. Varys has been seen hiding in the crypts with women and children.
I think he's getting the boot as well. I think the way Littlefinger went.
He's not a character who we talk about in the last 2 seasons. He's been completely kind of.
He's a cockroach.
He's gone. He was brilliant at the start, and he was
sensational.
Like for the first 4 or 5 seasons, how he manipulated everybody, and he was basically the whole reason. Him and Littlefinger, although they didn't work together, he kind of kept the whole thing going. They kind of put
political manipulation,
put everything into motion.
He's asleep. Okay, so I was just about to bring up that term, political manipulation.
He's going to die because.
Do you think he's a sleeper for the throne?
Not for the throne.
Melisandre, she predicted it in season 7. She said, "I have to come back to this land because I'm going to die, as will you." So we'll just say he's not going to make it out anyway.
Well, I think he's a perfect candidate for Hand of the King or Queen.
Yes.
And I think it might happen. There will be political intrigue at some point. And we know what's going to happen here. The Battle of the Brothers. Tyrion versus Jaime. Who is going to betray who? Who can take the potential betrayal and manipulate it for their own self-gain? Varys, the cockroach, is the perfect candidate for that.
I don't know. I think he's getting the boot. I think there's too much happening. I think he's had his time in the sun.
Just because I haven't read this theory on Reddit doesn't make it any less valid.
I want to see that. We want to see Clegane Ball. We want the Hound to make
that has to happen.
We want to see that. It's been so we were waiting for it, and Like, it'll be criminal if we don't get that.
Yeah, with our friend Hafthor Bjornsson.
Yeah, it has to be some of that.
Right, so who's going to die in the Clegane Bowl?
I think they'll both die.
Right.
I think they'll both be gone.
You can throw the Hound into the sea as well with Grey Worm and Varys.
This is so end of the season. This is like the end of the season. Who's still left? Who's still left alive? I'd say he's gone.
Night King.
Night King's gonna die. Can't win it. He can't win the end. He can't. Well, you guys can you can have your own board, but this is my board. But we can make a chart, okay? Yeah, we'll have our prediction. Who's gonna sit the Iron Throne? For me, I think Sansa is the perfect leader, and she will sit the Iron Throne in the end.
I'm in your boat there. I'm with you.
She's gone. He's definitely gone. I think.
So that's Cersei. That's Euron gone. Bronn gone.
He's gone. He's gone. He's going to die. He's going to redeem himself, doing something heroic.
He'll save someone. Yeah,
that'll be the end of him.
He'll bottle it again.
Jaime's
gone.
Brienne is gone.
This is a brutal season.
Daenerys is gone.
It has to be though, doesn't it?
I think Jon survives, and maybe he retreats back to watching the North and just broods away in the North because he loves.
Night's Watch.
Are you leaving Melisandre in there?
She's gone. She says she's already dead. Yeah, Jorah's gone. Arya, I think she might survive and eventually sail west.
Yeah.
See what's west of Westeros. She's already mentioned that in season 4 or 5. Bran.
Does Bran even exist?
He might survive. I don't know what else going to happen to Bran.
But you've already thrown him into the sea. He is the Night King.
No, he's going to be up here. He's going to go back to the lands of always winter and sit under the tree and become the free-eyed raven.
Okay. Then?
Tyrion and Sansa get married. How am I joking? That could happen. Okay,
it will be a twist.
Back to where they were like.
Davos is dead.
I think Davos stays with Jon.
Do you?
Yeah. And Sam and Gilly will. I don't know. I'll show you. Maybe they'll move down and go back to their house down here maybe they'll go to Old Town and stay there and become maces. And Sam. See, there's this theory that Sam will. The final scene will be Sam writing. The final scene will be a book turning over, and it'll be the Song of West, and Sam will be the author of this whole story. This was just been like a whole retelling of a story.
Oh my God, that would be iconic.
Don't tell me that.
Just to reiterate, so the only survivors are going to be Bran, Jon, Davos, Arya, who sails west. Then in King's Landing, you're going to have Sansa, and you're going to have Tyrion, and then you're going to have the two folks down below.
Sam and Gilly down below. Arya. God, that's a slaughter, isn't it?
I think the Arusa, Sandy, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll be playing this video back to you as the season progresses.
Yeah, I think that's how it'll go. I think Dany will die sacrificing herself.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll ever sit the Iron Throne. I think that maybe her and Jon maybe have a baby, and that baby will live. If the Tyrion betrayal is false, that baby will be, fostered by Sansa and Tyrion to become the next ruler of Westeros.
The time will tell. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave our update on the chart of Westeros for this week. Andy will be back every week to update that as the episodes go on by. Now, next we're chatting to Mark O'Donovan. I spoke to him before we came on air this afternoon on Off the Wall because he's been an extra in Season 7 and we think he's going to play a part again in Season 8 of Game of Thrones. World Champion rower Mark O'Donovan, how's it going?
Not too bad, no. Thanks for having me on.
So
how's things with you?
Very well, very well. We've just been... theorising about what's going to happen in the next series of Game of Thrones, a show you're very familiar with yourself.
We are, yeah, but sure we can't give much away. So.
Why are you familiar with Game of Thrones, Mark? Tell us the story.
Well, a few years ago there, they're filming for season 7, and so one of the girls, Salita Prospera, she is the world champion in the women's singles squad at the moment. So she's inside in town doing Pilates, and there's a girl in there whose fella was building a boat, and he was looking for rowers, and so your man's woman was telling Sunita about it. So the whole thing came back to us, and we just put her name forward for it, and they had to take mug shots and things like that, and we looked old enough and raggedy enough, and the rest is history, at this stage. So, sorry, somebody was making boats for the television show, and Sunita knew them and put you in contact with him? Yeah, so Sunita knew the fella's woman, so your man, so there's two lads in Cork, and they were building the boat, so it was a hand hand-built boat for set. And, sure, it's class altogether, yeah.
So, is there like, there's obviously been plenty of scenes on the sea over the past couple of seasons on Game of Thrones. Is this Cork company actually building them en masse for Game of Thrones and for HBO?
No, they're only building a few off ones, like only one or two.
Right, okay.
But like they probably build the very high quality ones where there'll be different companies all over the place building different boats, but like, if it's going to be wrecked, they probably won't be asking these lads to build it.
Yeah.
Like these ones are made to last. Like.
What sort of what side were you on? What character were you playing, or whose allegiance had you tied to?
In the episodes I was shown, I was a Stark guard.
Right. Okay.
So there's a bunch of lads from Cork, and we went out. They flew us out. We went out to Zumaya. So it's kind of Basque country there in northern Spain, and lovely coastline, and yeah, it was fantastic. Like,
what was the
lovely spot?
What was the filming like, Mark? So obviously, you're telling us you can't give anything away. There's non-disclosure agreements. It must have been pretty intense. The filming, was it?
Well, it's long days, you know. Like when you're on set, you could be on set for 12 hours. Like you're a long time at it, but other days might be short, and it depends what way you fit into the kind of current screen or whatever. So different people might have a half day, and different ones might have a full day. So some of the times we were there is 12 hours, and then after that you might be on a shorter half day. It depends what they're doing, but sure, I suppose we're the dogs and just being worked hard, and then the big movie stars, then they'd be in and out for a few minutes, stepping in, and sure, they've the life of luxury, don't they?
Did you get talking to them?
They keep to themselves, to be fair. Sure, they don't want to be annoyed by fans either, you know.
Well, but like, to be fair, if you're a world champion on set as well, you probably keep to yourself.
Oh yeah, sure. I suppose I didn't want to talk to them more than anything.
Well, exactly. How much do you actually know, Mark? I know you can't tell us anything, but how much do you actually know?
Of the new season?
Yeah. Season 8.
Nothing.
So what sort of scenes were you filming then?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
So whatever happened in the scene, it doesn't actually tell you. You don't actually know from what happens, from what you were doing, what the outcome of that scene is or anything.
No. Sure. I suppose there's spoilers everywhere, and everyone's trying to keep it on the wrap. So, but like, we actually don't. We have no idea. So,
what episodes have you appeared in so far? Because I might go back and actually have a look at this.
Well, if you watch it, you probably know. It'd be hard to miss my nose sticking out of a helmet.
we had a couple of images there, I think. I think it was season 7, episode 3.
Right. Okay. I didn't know about this, Mark. So if I'd known at the time, I might have kept a closer eye out for it.
Do you know Mark has on his Twitter bio? What is on it?
Actor #GOT.
Yeah, actor #GOT. You're not keeping an eye on it, of course not. It was Adrian Barry who put us in contact.
There you are.
Yeah, you can see it there in the background.
God, that's.
I can't know, but sure.
No, Mark tweeted. Yeah, Mark tweeted those photos out.
It's a fierce look you've got going on there, Mark.
I know. I was working it.
It's a bit of a blue steel look.
I know. I was hoping to get a contract afterwards, but nothing ever came out of it.
Is this something you really enjoyed? Is it something you want to keep doing in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Sure, we had the time of our lives. You know, it was great crack, and it was long, the days you were working, but sure, like we were going away to nice destinations and stuff. I suppose it's something similar to the rowing. You're always going away somewhere pretty good. But like when you're worked, you worked hard.
Is it just the Basque country you were brought to outside of? Like, did they shoot scenes up in Northern Ireland as well?
Yeah, we went up there as well for a little bit, but that footage was never used in the end.
Right.
Okay. So it's like those.
It's too good.
Like those scenes that we never see. And Mark, like you're a fan as well. Like we're doing the show with Andy Lee, and his level of obsession is through the roof. When did you start watching it? Have you been keeping an eye on it the whole time?
Since day one, yeah. When it came out, I never read the books now or anything like that. But I got into the TV show, and yeah, it was a great opportunity. I suppose when we when I first found out about it, I didn't realise we were going to get a few pounds for it. And then because the company brought us on, they paid us, thankfully, so a lot of extras wouldn't get anything, and I was happy to do it for free, you know. So I suppose we don't want to be saying that at all too much.
We'll cut that scene out. What do you think's going to happen?
Oh Christ, I couldn't tell you, and I don't want to be saying anything then as well, because I'll probably get everyone fired.
Do you know what episode we should be keeping an eye out for in this season? Are you going to become more? No clue.
I don't know.
No clue.
No idea.
It's
no
unbelievable,
idea.
the intrigue and the secrecy around it all. It's actually amazing how to keep this stuff under wraps.
Yeah, geez, you probably got a few lessons in terms of keeping your cards close to your chest.
Yeah, I suppose when we you learn from your lessons, you know.
You sound like
I got a good old bollocking over in Spain there at one stage.
Oh yeah, why so?
There was a rowing club there I was training out of in Zumaya, and in the bios there's a couple of lads then in Zumaya as well who are in a different scene, or just the same scene, but they're in a different boat, you know. And they're like local rowers of that club. It's kind of a coastal rowing. It's kind of specific to the northern countries, northern counties, or whatever, a region in Spain. And I probably said a few things I shouldn't have, and it didn't go out well. But it all got capped anyway before anything went out.
Listen, Mark, you've given us absolutely nothing in terms of secrets, but it's been great to hear about your Game of Thrones acting career. Very best of luck with it, with any future opportunities, and great to chat to you.
Thanks very much.
Mark O'Donovan there speaking to us about his appearances in Game of Thrones in the background. I'm not sure if you spotted him. We're just going to finish up with a few comments. Paul Nealon on Twitter says, Andy Lee, the Boxer has a Game of Thrones podcast series on Off the Ball called Off the Wall. First episode out tonight. Yeah, you read that right.
I know.
Luke Mackin on YouTube says, fantastic lads, bring on the next few weeks. Joseph Burke asks, is this show about a gnome? Joey the Lips 9618 or 96, sorry, Joey the Lips 96 says, Drogon is larger and stronger than the other dragons. In episode 4, when Bronn fired an arrow at Drogon, he was somewhat impaired, but this did not kill him. Also, Drogon was grounded when Daenerys arrived at the lake, while Viserion and Rhaegal burned the whites from above. It was the impact that killed Viserion, not the ice spear, which just impaired his flight. Hence, the optimal course of action for the Night King was to target one of the airborne dragons. Interesting theory, Joey the Lips 96.
Somebody got back to him, I think.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Patrick MG16 says, I think you're giving the writers way too much credit, and Joey the Lips 96 has been back in touch to say, I don't. This is perfectly reasonable. Perhaps the Night King wanted a dragon and not to kill a few meaningless foot soldiers in the war. Danny and John's crew. Like, he hardly cares if they live or die.
Well, he knows who John is, because they've had a few face-offs now, especially at Hardhome, where there was that long stare down. It was like, come at me, bro. You know, come on.
That was unreal.
Yeah, so he knows who John is, you know, and he knows he's something special because he's killed a White Walker now. And
this really is the first time that, you know, the books are kind of, they're gone now. We're ahead of the books. There hasn't been any real leaks or episodes dropping early. It's the first time really that we're not fully sure what's going to happen.
Maybe. We'll see how many of these predictions come true. Final point, and I want your answer to both of this. Who is, personality-wise, who is the coldest character in Game of Thrones? And I think it's a tie for the top.
I know who you're going to say. I think
coldest.
You're going to say Bran and Arya.
I'm going to say Bran and the Night King. That stare off. Who was the only other person who could stare at Jon like that in the Night King and Hardhome? Bran. And that is why Bran is the Night King.
You mean lifeless, soulless?
Soulless, kind of become a goth, has listened to way too much goth music, whatever.
For his teenage years, what do you expect?
Well, exactly. He's going through a pretty difficult time in his life, as is the Night King. The Night King is going through puberty, everybody.
Climate change last week and now he's going through puberty.
What do you reckon?
It's as valid as any other theory, Bran being the Night King.
But who do you reckon is the coldest character?
The Night King.
The Night King.
So you're not talking most psychotic, sickest, you're talking coldest, emptiest.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Lacking in empathy.
Yeah.
Like Ramsay Bolton. What are you talking about?
Well, he's dead.
Okay, Ramsay's dead. He probably was, though,
He liked his dogs, though.
He was the sickest.
He liked his dogs, yeah.
He did, didn't he?
He fed them well.
I don't know, like, Arya is such an interesting one. She's just been muttering names since season 1.
Cersei's pretty...
Cersei loved Marcella, didn't she?
Yeah, but now at this point...
She's gone mad.
Especially if the baby... If I hate this even mention the word, if she has a miscarriage, you know. Mm-hmm. I know we're talking about fictional characters here, but you feel like it's not. You don't even feel comfortable saying that.
No, I get you.
But then I think she'd be completely gone. I think she'd be completely lost or irredeemable.
Yeah, the Mad Queen will be fully formed.
She'll just burn them all, you know, completely now with wildfire. That's
something like that is going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. If the North can get their hands on some wildfire, all bets are off.
And guess who can smuggle it? The person who's trying to smuggle his sister out of King's Landing. Theon Greyjoy is going to smuggle.
Well, Davos Seagrass is a smuggler. Maybe they'll get the idea.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they'll have to There was a leaked photo of Jon at King's Landing talking to Cersei. I know this is late in the game, but there was a leaked photo of Jon and Cersei talking in the Rovnik. Now, whether that was a fake scene because the photo wasn't released, but it was leaked.
Yeah.
So. Maybe after they retreat and go to Dragonstone, Jon says, "Look, I have to go and try one more time with Cersei." And then they say, maybe he says, "Jaime's dead, Tyrion's dead. You know, the Night Kings killed them both. Give us the wildfire."
God, well,
they
might end up in King's Landing anyway. To be fair, they might have retreat all the way down from Winterfell. That might be. It seems like a fairly big ploy to fly Kit Harington to Croatia just for the sake of skewing us. But stranger things have definitely happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'd love to hear your theories. You can tweet us at Off the Ball. You can comment on the YouTube stream or on the Facebook stream. If you've been watching Off the Ball with thanks to Discover Northern Ireland. One last point, Tommy.
Well, when we're back next week, guys, it's going to be episode 1. It's going to be over.
Reaction to episode 1. We want to hear your reaction.
Here on Tuesday next week after episode 1.
Everyone, walk very carefully when you're going down the road. Do not, you know what I mean? Do not take any undue risk because we want to make it through this season.
Absolutely.
The world's been around for 4.5 billion years and we're lucky enough to live in this short window of Game of Thrones.
I really just couldn't put it on a better, more romantic note than that.
Phenomenal.
Lads, thank you very much. As I said, this has been with thanks to Discover Northern Ireland. Off the Wall, back next Tuesday.